We're all thirsty. We've all said, I'm thirsty. We've heard other people say the same exact thing, I'm thirsty. If you ever babysat for small kids especially, you know that probably after you get them all ready for bed, you get them to bed, you turn off the light, you say goodnight. A few minutes later you hear somebody calling, I'm really thirsty, could I have a drink of water please? It's sort of a universal experience, I think. Probably since the beginning of time and all over the world, we have realized that we need water. There are some places in the world that even to this day don't have access to clean water. And we know when people don't have that, it leads to a lot of other issues and complications and problems. They don't have good food then, which also leads to disease, lack of education, poverty, lack of housing. A lot of that can really be traced back to not having available clean water to sustain life. The reading that we heard this Sunday is about the Samaritan woman and Jesus, really just two characters in this story. It seems that at the beginning of the reading, two people are going to the well for seemingly the exact same purpose, to get a drink. Jesus arrives and actually initiates the conversation by saying, give me a drink of water. The woman realizes that something's wrong with this situation because Jesus really shouldn't be speaking to her. She's a Samaritan, he's a Jew, they don't get along. She even mentions this, why are you talking to me? I'm a Samaritan woman. But Jesus continues the conversation, and the woman engages in the conversation as well. They spend some time together in dialogue. It seems that after a while, the woman recognizes that Jesus is not an ordinary individual. She says, are you a prophet? Finally, Jesus says something to her. This is what he says. Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water that I will give will never be thirsty. The water I will give will become a spring of water, welling up to eternal life. The woman, as would I, says right away to Jesus, give me some of that water. She says that because why would she not want it? It must be some sort of miracle water. She wouldn't have to drag that bucket back and forth every day to the well to bring water back to her home. Jesus knows she doesn't quite get it, so he explains a little bit, but he also knows that she needs more than water for her life. She knows that he is different. She says she's waiting for the Messiah, that people say when he comes, he will explain everything to us. He will tell us everything. And Jesus says to the woman, that's me. I am the one. All of us recognize ourselves, I think, in the woman. She has this now newfound knowledge, newfound faith. What is she going to do with it? She knows Jesus is somebody special. What does she do? She runs and she tells all of her friends about the man who is going to give life-giving water. All of us, I think, are thirsty for lots of things. Some of us thirst for things that are really good for us, and some of us not so much. Lent, this season that we're in, is a good time for us to examine these thirsts in ourselves. What do we thirst for? How do we quench those thirsts? I think we've all had the experience of wanting something so much that we think once we get it, we're really going to be happy. We won't need anything else. We won't want anything else. It might be a car. It might be some clothing. It might be a gadget. It might even be a person. Once we have this, we think we're going to be happy forever. And many of us are lucky enough to have these longings kind of met and fulfilled. Our thirst quenched, so to speak. We get what we've been wanting. And right away, we are really happy. We feel like this is going to last forever. It's going to make us happy forever. We finally have this thing or this person, and we'll never want anything again. After a little while, we start to ask questions like, why did I want this exactly? Is this all there is? We kind of get a sense that our thirst has been quenched, but only temporarily. Much like bringing a bucket to a well every day, taking it home full, using it up, and having to go back with an empty bucket and fill it the next day, just like the woman did at the well in Samaria. When it dawns on us that we need more, that these things we thought were going to satisfy us, that these things were going to make us happy, we realize that there's more. And just like the woman in the story, we realize that Jesus really is all we need. And when we realize that, there's only one thing we can do. Trust and have faith, certainly, but run and tell our friends. Tell everybody else that this man gives us life, gives us living water. So this week then, after hearing and reflecting on this reading, think about what you thirst for the most, and what does living water mean to you?